And so the first question out the gate, Miss Des, is as the reigning Miss Michigan USA, tell our listeners what was the experience like to run and to ultimately win this highly coveted title?
I do have a little surprise for you, but before I get to the surprise,
all right, guys, we are back, and I know you are enjoying my interview with this amazing CEO and global advocate and the reigning Miss Michigan USA. I'm enjoying our conversation, and I know you are as well. We were talking in the first segment about her and the many hats that she wears and how she does it, and she just makes it all look good and look amazing, obviously. But in this segment, we want to shift gears a bit and talk a little bit about her run as Miss Michigan USA. And so the first question out the gate, Miss Des, is as the reigning Miss Michigan USA, tell our listeners what was the experience like to run and to ultimately win this highly coveted title?
I do have a little surprise for you. But before I get to the surprise, before I got to reign as Miss Michigan USA, I was able to have a county title, Miss Kent County, which is a county where I live in Grand Rapids. After that, I was able to reign as Miss Michigan Petite. And in that pageant, it is a national pageant. I placed in top 10, being number 6, making history for Michigan and both cities that I'm from. So I am from Benton Harbor, and people are always like, oh my gosh, where's that? It's what they call a mini Chicago or Detroit. However, I call that stigma. So there's so much talent, so much culture, so many more things to the city where I'm actually born and from than what people know. However, I do live in a bigger city called Grand Rapids, which is perfectly fine. I love it here too. That's why I always tell people I love you like the West Side. I did get it from a song, but for a long time, people started calling me the West Side Queen because I live on the west side of the state. So that's where they used to see me the most.
Okay.
So after placing in that pageant, making history, I wanted to be able to do something a little bigger. So Miss Michigan USA is actually my new reign for 2026 that I haven't released to the world yet up until now. So Merry Christmas, guys.
Yeah.
I am competing for Miss USA International this upcoming pageant season. And in order to be selected as Miss Michigan USA, I actually had to go through a very strenuous 3-day interview process that was international. They made me submit my resume, my social media, my proof of my nonprofit, pretty much everything about who I am. And then I had to allow them to monitor me over those 72 hours to see if they thought I would be someone able to represent their organization. So I did finally, after that 3-day process, actually, there were 3 different rounds, first of all. It wasn't an easy process to go through because they let me know, hey, we're going to tell you after every round if you made it through or not. So I would receive a letter every day. Hey, you made it through to the next round. Hey, you made it through to the next round. You can sit down. This is my daughter, guys. So after the 3-day process was over, they finally sent my official letter. Hey, after the very strenuous selection process, we finally made it through. And you are the one who's going to be selected to reign for our organization as Miss Michigan USA 2026.
Wow. Guys, I'm not sure if you really understand the gravity of what she just shared with us. We are talking to not just the Miss Michigan USA 2025, but we are talking to Miss Michigan USA 2026. And she is going to be running for and competing for the title of Miss USA in 2026, Miss USA International. Guys, I don't know if that's why I say all the time, you've got to listen to this podcast because this was an exclusive. She shared this with us. This is the first time she is sharing this news with anyone. And she decided to share this with the Thinking Out Loud radio show. And we are tremendously blessed and happy and thrilled that she decided to share this news with us on this growing platform that we have called the Thinking Out Loud radio show. Thank you so much for sharing this groundbreaking news with us.
Thank you for giving me the space to do. I've been waiting to actually release it without doing it in the normal, like my cliche social media way. Yes, this is what I'm doing.
Right.
So this is a gift for me too, just having me on your podcast and being able to talk about it.
Hey, we're giving gifts. So you gave us a gift and we're giving you one back as well. Absolutely. Guys, I know you are enjoying my interview with this talented and gifted CEO and the Miss Reigning USA 2025 and 2026. She just announced it right here on the Thinking Out Loud radio show. With that, in conjunction with that first question, I know people would like to know about the pageant themselves. So when you win these titles, what is the responsibility of the pageant, the title holders? What goes along with holding the title of Miss Michigan USA? And tell our listeners, what do you like the most about it and what do you might like the least?
So, as much as people may think pageants are all about glitz and glam, a lot of us are overly educated. So typically all the women that I'm sitting next to also have master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, associates, even if they don't, nonprofits, businesses they run. So it's a huge family of women who just like to connect with each other. And I know there's a whole bunch of stigma behind pageantry where people think, oh, the women aren't nice. And sometimes you do run into that. But ultimately, there's no limit of support. So for pageantry, the title holder responsibility is to just uphold that, just the family aspect and the organization's brand, whether that's to be given back to the community or just getting more sponsors or making sure that people know that the organization exists. But also the organization's mission statement. What do they stand for? Do you also stand for that? Because it's giving you a platform to not only speak up for yourself, but represent an entire organization who's representing you as well. So I always tell people it has nothing to do with the crown, which is my least favorite part to answer your question. They're always so heavy, despite how beautiful they are. We all get headaches. And then people make this joke that we're going to have the little indent in our head. It is actually scientifically proven that most of us do over time, especially if you've reigned for years continuously. So it's really funny. So my least favorite part is the crown, but my favorite part about pageantry is the fact that it does hold so many expectations for you to be your best self. Mm-hmm. You do have to enunciate when you speak so people understand you. You do have to make sure that you're able to present yourself when you walk into a room because are these people paying attention to the right thing? Are they hearing what you're saying? So the look and the glitz and the glam, it doesn't have anything to do with it other than, oh, that is great to look at, but watch what happens when she speaks. Watch what happens when she walks in the room and you give her the platform.
You definitely have it. You have all of that and more.
It's because of pageantry that I do. The confidence, all of it came from pageantry. Having to be on that stage, having to be around so many other women who are like-minded. But also I went through a really rough phase where I was like, I just don't know who I am. I don't know what to do. What do I do? Pageantry gave me my sense of self. So even people are always like, oh, you're Miss Michigan. On a normal day, I'm just Miss Des, but not all just to my students, to the entire world. So being Miss Michigan or just being in pageantry altogether is what created the whole Miss Des identity.
It makes sense. And you are definitely wearing that crown, that heavy crown, very well.
Thank you. It's definitely my least favorite thing.
I think that might be a metaphor for the heaviness of the crown might relate directly to the degree which the role that you have to uphold when you are wearing the crown. And that's for lack of a better reference. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that the heaviness of the crown might speak directly to the weight of the responsibility that it goes along with holding that title.
Absolutely. And they all, I can say that they are all beautiful to look at, but ultimately you have to love pageantry in order to like it because it is a full-time job, just like every other hat you want to wear.
I'm sure. Guys, I'm enjoying this conversation. and I know you are as well. We're going to shift gears again because in addition to her being the reigning Miss Michigan USA 2025 and 2026, she is also a global advocate for mental health. And I want you to tell our listeners how important it is to maintain good mental health and what are the challenges that many people face in trying to do so.
One of the major things that I always try to point out when it comes to mental health is that it's not just about your mental. It also affects your body in other ways, whether that's sleep, whether it's your digestive system, whether it's literally the way your body and your nervous system is functioning and how you operate. You can be operating in fight or flight. You can literally always feel like you have to be in defense mode. Your mental health it's your entire personality pretty much. So that's why people have opinions on who you are. Oh no, they're not that kind of a nice person, or they're cool, but I feel like they always got something going on. Like, those are opinions based off people's personal experiences with life. That's why I always tell people you have to handle people differently. You have to handle them based on who they are, meet them where they are.
Right. So very true. So very true. And when you think about mental health and the kinds of things that people are experiencing here just recently we can talk about what happened with director Rob Reiner and his wife and the son who they're saying that he had a mental health crisis. And that's what led to him ultimately taking the lives of his mother and father.
That's why condolences to their entire family. I hope that he does get the help that he needs. I wouldn't even know how to navigate something like that. So I don't know how they're doing that currently.
Right.
And that's another thing that I always tell people too. That's why I chose to do what I do, because not to say that's my experience. It definitely isn't that extreme. I also tell people don't compare your trauma. Just because somebody else says they're going through something at the same time that you are doesn't mean what you're going through is lesser. However you feel is how you feel about it. Now, what do we need to do to make sure you're getting through it? Exactly. Like, it's not up to you to compare. It's not up to you to pick a scale 1 through 10 on how much less you think this should affect you compared to somebody else. They're not you.
Right. People are different. They handle things different. They look at
and I tell people all the time, it's different depending on who you are. So, for example, when I had my daughter, I went through postpartum really bad. No one, absolutely no one knew. And the reason why is because I was still functioning as normal. My postpartum wasn't like, oh, I feel like I'm going to hurt my daughter. Like, my mental health is making me have breakdowns or anything like that. It was more so just I was forgetting who I was as a person. I wasn't leaving my house often. I cut all of my hair off, actually. So when I tell people that, I was like, oh, your hair is so beautiful. My hair is naturally curly because I am mixed. My curls used to touch my butt. So when there's this, oh, what do you mean you went through postpartum? I cut all my hair off, for one. And then I dyed it because I didn't know who I was, which is something I've never done before. I've always been very big on, this is my natural hair color. This is who I am, because I am mixed and my parents are also mixed. So I'm like, these are my features. This is who I am. This is where I get it from.
Wow.
So I've always been very big on like being natural and being healthy, just because I feel like that's what's best for not only my mental, but just my body in general.
Right. It is so interesting. And you have to be very careful how you treat people, especially those that might be dealing with mental health issues. And you may or may not even recognize those individuals on the surface because, as you said, you were going through postpartum and you were a functioning adult.
Yeah, but sometimes you don't. And sometimes the physical change can be there too. So now, of course, I do pageantry, so everybody's familiar with like my physique and everything like that. But what they don't understand is this is the tiniest I've ever been. I used to be, I think it was like 150 pounds. I actually made a post about it with the pictures side by side. This is what mental health looks like when you don't address it. Like, I know what it feels like to have the hospital stays because you can't eat, but they keep telling you nothing's wrong. So it took one of my nurses to literally say, is everything okay at home? For me to be like, is it my brain?
Wow.
So it genuinely just took one person to say, you keep coming here and nothing's helping, nothing's working, nothing's wrong with you either. Physically, at least.
Wow.
But because it took me so long to acknowledge it, and because it took me so long to address it and find a healthy way to cope, I still now, to this day, deal with all of the health issues that came from me not addressing my mental health. So I spent 2 years being a vegetarian because I had what they called hyperemesis post-pregnancy. So when I was diagnosed with it during pregnancy, I couldn't eat, couldn't do anything. It's pretty much like the flu, but on steroids. So I was hospitalized a lot. My pregnancy was very like high risk and intense. It's very controlled now. But if I have moments where like my PTSD is triggered or I'm very anxious for some reason, I instantly will probably get nauseous. And in that moment, I'm like, okay, you either need to calm down, like you need to find your coping mechanisms right now. And a lot of my friends will tell me, you literally experience your emotions in real time. So I tell my friends all the time, I'm a crybaby. And they're like, we know. I'm glad because I'm going to cry every time. Like every single time. It could be for a movie. It could be happy. It could be sad. It doesn't matter if that's what I'm feeling at the moment. I'm going to feel it. And if for any reason what I'm feeling is making you uncomfortable, then you should not be in my space. Because if you are feeling this way around me, let me know how to comfort you. Or do you need space? But whatever you need in that moment, you're going to receive from me because I genuinely care about your well-being.
Wow. Wow. So not only are you cognizant of your own mental health, you're also cognizant and aware of those who you are around.
Yes.
And
so I always
their
tell people I'm very
as well.
aware of who I am. I'm very aware of my actions, but also because I'm very aware, it's also a problem because me being so aware makes you want to fix all of it. And you can't be fixed with Felix for
everybody, right?
Yes, exactly. So people tend to ask me like, oh, does everybody think you're a good person? Are you like this for everybody? It probably just depends on who you ask. You can't be heaven for everybody, but I try.
Wow.
I try. It depends on how people receive what I'm doing. That's all I can say.
That's all you can. Right. That's all you can do. That's all you can do. Guys, I know you're enjoying my interview with Miss Dez, the CEO and the reigning Miss Michigan 2025 and 2026. I'm enjoying our conversation on the Thinking Out Loud radio show. We're getting ready to take our last break. When we come back, we're jumping right back into our interview, giving you our conclusion of this amazing interview with this amazing young lady. Don't go anywhere into the Thinking Out Loud radio show. We'll be right back.